What's going on, everybody? Wanted to make this video to recap the Level Up Summit for Go High Level. I honestly believe in high level more than I ever have after going to this event. And I thought for those of you who weren't able to attend, I would record a video going over all of the speakers, the cool things that I learned from them, also the new features I'm the most excited for and kind of their use cases inside of high level. And then lastly, my biggest takeaways from the event, just looking at the market and seeing what everybody's doing, because there's a lot of cool takeaways there. And I'm just going for this on Saturday afternoon because I want to get this out as quickly as possible to you guys. So forgive the lack of production value. First of all, let's talk about the speakers. So I'm just going to run through all of the keynote speakers that I saw and then a couple of the breakout speakers that I loved and tell you my biggest takeaway from them. So first of all, Billy Jean talked about this software, HeyGen, which he uses to create an avatar of himself that can actually create content. Now, the audio on this is really terrible. Like, it just sounds like a robot. So you'll have to pair it up with 11 Labs, which allows you to actually get the best voice AI out there. Frank Kern says he makes his ads this way now, which is super cool. Speaking of Frank Kern, he talked about how they absolutely exploded their sales of their white label version of high level. It's called Rainmaker.ai, I think. And the way that he did that was by changing the offer, just tweaking it a little bit. And instead of, selling the software directly, basically they sold a course and said, in order to get this course, all you have to do is buy the annual plan to this software. So then they sold all of this recurring revenue on the software, and of course had the course to help people actually stick on the software, which was super cool. So very tricky tweak on the offer there that made a massive difference for him in sales. All right, next up, Chris Record. I had never heard of him, but his talk was actually really, really good. He got to $1 million a month in Shopify affiliate payouts. And the way that he did it is through something he calls assumptive selling. So he did a challenge. It was like a 90-day e-commerce challenge. And in the very first video of the challenge that he put out, he would say, all right, everybody go to your Shopify account, log in here. And of course, 90% of the people watching the e-commerce challenge didn't actually have a Shopify account yet. So what he would say is, if you don't have one yet, just go ahead and click the link below and we'll get you in there. So the really cool thing about that is that he never had to sell. He just assumed that people had it and they never felt like, oh, wow, this guy's just trying to sell me something or get me on his affiliate link or something like that. It was super powerful. Next up is Kathy Olson. Hers was actually probably my favorite talk. She talked about her days as a graffiti artist and the lessons she learned from that. And she talked about this person that climbed a tower, a water tower that was like 17 stories tall, and painted some graffiti on there. And it was so legendary because it was so hard to climb up there and paint over the graffiti that it stayed for years and years. So she talked about switching your offer from an irresistible offer to a quote, irreplaceable offer, going farther than anybody else would. And she talked about how in their SaaS funnel, Gorgeous Funnels, there are a lot of people who are just like, I don't even want to touch starting my own software company with high level because you guys are already so good at it and I just want to focus on my own business. So they've truly become irreplaceable through their support and the value adds that they give through the software. Next up, Cody Sanchez. Obviously, we've all seen her on YouTube. She talked about mergers and acquisitions and about how you can find people who aren't super profitable with their business, meaning that their business won't sell for much, and you can get a piece of that or all of that business and then obviously go in and do the audit, remove the expenses that don't need to be in there. And with your marketing expertise, installing high level, that kind of thing, you can grow the business and then eventually sell that. She went through a bunch of different ways to buy and sell businesses. Super cool, but that's the one that stuck out to me the most. Now, Perry Belcher's talk was about newsletters, buying and selling newsletters, and all this crazy stuff that has to do with that. To be honest, it went a little bit over my head, but the thing that I did love that he said is in these newsletters that they're growing, they'll send an email and they only send a pitch if the person opens the value email and they send it at the same exact time as they open it. So let's say somebody opens your value-based email for whatever product you're selling, you would trigger that in high level to send them another email that's pitching them something because you're only reaching the people who have already gotten value from you recently. And of course, they're more likely to click because it's in that exact moment. Speaking of email, one of my favorite breakout speakers was Kristen Rushman. She is the email goddess. And she talked about how she generated over $1 million in revenue from only 6,000 emails. And get this, 3 emails to that list of 6,000 people, $1 million in revenue for a company. And my biggest takeaway from what she was talking about is that email is the backbone of any company still. When you send more emails, you will make more money. So if you're not focusing on building your list and sending emails to that list, you are missing out on revenue. My other favorite breakout speaker was Troy Dean from Agency Mavericks. We got a chance to talk. I did a street interview with him as well. But what's cool is that he talked about getting paid to get paid. And what he means by that is you generate leads, however you do that, content, ads, whatever. And then you call those leads and you, on a 15-minute call, say, hey, we'd love to sell you a growth package audit. So basically for $1,200, we'll write down exactly what we would do to grow your business. We'll look at everything and put it together. And then you actually get on the call, present that, and they're so impressed with the value that people are closing like $70,000 a year contracts after already having been paid $1,200 to do the growth plan. So if you're going after big enough fish that is an option, it's super, super cool way to grow your business. All right, moving on to my favorite features. Now, there's a blog article with absolutely everything in the new feature release, but I'm just going to go over my favorites here because there is so many. First of all, replacing DocuSign. That's a really big one. We're able to send automatic, like estimates / proposals / contracts. And then once those are signed by multiple signers, by the way, you can automate an invoice being sent. And then once that invoice is paid, you can automate the onboarding process for that client. It's just insane how much we can do inside of one software. My next favorite one is the in-app marketplace here, where you can get all of the GHL add-on softwares that are in the marketplace and add them to specific sub accounts and push them out. So there's no need for like the custom integrations anymore. And what's really cool is that a lot of these aren't just in the marketplace. They actually have triggers and actions inside of the workflow builder as well. And you can toggle whether or not you want those available to your customers. Next up is the chat widget. They now have this option for chat type. So you can have a live chat that's like a real chat where it doesn't have to collect their phone and email in order for them to talk to you. So I know a lot of people have actually wanted this, and I'm super excited that it's pushed out now. Additionally, they have pushed out WhatsApp, which is very cool. I registered it with my business, so send me a WhatsApp message here if you want to chat. But this is a game changer, especially if you work with people in other countries. Next up is what they added to the mobile app. There's actually a ton in here, and I'll head to the blog article here to show you. So warm and blind transfers of calls from the mobile app. You can sign in with Google, which is great. You can schedule SMS and email. You can have WhatsApp in mobile. You can have a task manager in mobile. And this one's really cool, tap to pay. So you can do phone to phone payments. You can also do card to phone payments. You don't need a gateway. You don't need anything like that, which is super cool. Now, in addition to that, they've started adding a lot of features for communities and courses. And the coolest one they talked about, which is coming soon but hasn't been released yet, is a learner app that's going to have like courses, communities, the ability to DM back and forth and watch, membership content inside of one app, kind of like the Teachable app or the school app, which is just absolutely life-changing, right? And then lastly, voice AI. There's 2 things here. One is coming soon. One's already here. The IVR is the one that's here, which means if somebody calls a certain number, you can set up a workflow where it says press 1 for billing, press 2 for customer support, whatever it is you want it to say. That can happen in HighLevel now. And the one that's coming soon is AI calling. So this would completely replace something like Air AI. You'd be able to do calls to inbound leads once they come in, or even trigger them to cold calls. And you could call and say, hey, this is like Keaton's AI voice bot. We just wanted to call. We saw you opted in. Is this your first time talking to an AI bot? The voice isn't quite there. It doesn't sound totally human, but it's actually really interesting to consider the possibilities when you acknowledge that it is a bot, it is AI, and that's totally fine. Like, people will still talk to the AI bot if you acknowledge it up front, but they're just going to hang up if you're trying to pretend that it's a real person. And I believe HighLevel has a full video of what they talked about here, and they had a live demo of that voice AI, which is super cool. Okay, lastly, I want to share my general takeaways from the event, from people I talked to, and the state of the market. The first one is that there are a ton of people who are absolute beginners succeeding with the one feature software type thing. So for example, I talked to a guy who just decided he was going to sell free websites and website hosting through HighLevel. And this was about 3 months ago. And in those 3 months, he had sold $30K worth of free websites and website hosting, which is super cool. That one single thing that HighLevel can do, obviously can do so much more. However, he just focused on that key core concept. There's also tons of businesses that just have one aspect of what HighLevel does, like Missed Call Text Back, for example, and their multi-million-dollar valuation in that company because of how powerful that single feature is. So don't underestimate just selling that feature to people. It's pretty powerful, to be honest. And my second takeaway is that HighLevel is actually the best software on the market. And to be honest, I didn't totally believe that until this week when I saw A, all of these new feature releases, but B, the fact that HighLevel allows you to resell, to white label, all of these things for the price that it does. It is absolutely hands down the best offering on the market. It is. That's it. It totally is. And it's better than the make money online softwares. It's better than the Silicon Valley CRMs. All of the HighLevel features that they give us for the price they give us it's absolutely the best thing on the market. So the way I see it, HighLevel is a rocket ship and it's headed for the moon, and I'm strapping myself to that rocket ship. I'm 100% behind their vision, their mission. What's really cool about Sean, Varun, and Robin is they talk about how, these other softwares out there, you can belong in both camps. You can use HighLevel and you can use ClickFunnels, for example. But I was talking to someone who said, at ClickFunnels, it's pretty much the opposite. You're either in or you're out. You either use our software or you don't. It's like a cult. And what's really cool about HighLevel is that it's not that way. They welcome people, they integrate with anything. It's built on really, really good code that anybody can integrate with. And it's just a beautiful thing. So that's it for this video. If you didn't go to the Level Up Summit this year, I highly, highly recommend that you buy a ticket for next year. Their events are absolutely amazing, and I know you'll love it. Take care.